For problem number 6, okay, we've got this big old fraction here plus cosine equal 2, and we got to solve it. Well, what I'm thinking is if I multiply everything by this denominator, it's going to get rid of this fraction. So let's go ahead and try that. But keep in mind, if you're going to do something like this, you've got to multiply everything by 2 plus cosine theta. So here we go, writing the problem down. I'm going to spread it out a little bit so I got room to show you what I'm about to do. Alright, so now I'm going to multiply this by 2 plus cosine theta, and then I'm going to multiply the cosine by 2 plus cosine theta, and then I'm going to multiply the 2 times 2 plus cosine theta. And now it's just, this is going to cancel out. This is going to become 2 cosine plus cosine squared, and then this is going to be 4 plus 2 cosine. Alright, now what I can do is get rid of these 2 cosines out of the way, because 2 cosine minus 2 cosine, that's going to equal 0. And then I take a look and I've got sines and cosines. Well, if I make this cosine squared, it's equal to 1 minus sine squared. And so if I replace it with that, then I'm going to have all sines. So that's going to give me 13 sine squared plus 1 minus sine squared equal 4. And now if I just go ahead and subtract the sine squared, I get 12 sine squared is equal to 3. I divide both sides by 12, it's going to be 1/4. If I have sine squared equal to 1/4, I have to square root both sides. That's going to give me sine is equal to plus or minus 1/2. Now keep in mind, I got to do both, so that's going to be sine -1 of 1/2, and then sine -1 of 1/2, or negative 1/2. And if I do this, I'm going to get 30, and if I do this, I'm going to get negative 30. And if I go across, I got another angle of 150. If I go down here to the negative 30, oh, and I got to check to make sure that I'm within the range, and I am. So then I go over here, and negative 30, well, that's outside the range. And then if I go positive, well, that's going to be too big too. That's going to be 330. And then if I try going across, well, that's going to be too negative. And then if I do the positive version of it, that's also going to be too big, because I only can go as big as 180. So the only two answers here are 30 and 150. Now in problem number 7, we've got 2 cosine squared x equal to 5 sine x minus 1. All right, so you'll notice we've got cosines and sines, but there's also a negative 1 here. So I'm going to replace that cosine squared with a 1 minus sine squared. And then I'm just going to distribute and then try to get everything over on one side. I'm thinking already it looks like it's going to be a quadratic. So now I'm going to end up with 2 sine squared plus 5 sine x minus 3. And then I'm going to go ahead and solve this. Now keep in mind, I'm replacing the sines, x's with h's, because what I'm going to do is treat this like a quadratic now. So I'm going to find h, and then when I do my x factor, I find out that my two values for h are going to be 1/2 and negative 3. Well, now I replace the h with what it's equal to, which is sine x. So then I've got sine x is equal to 1/2 and sine x is equal to negative 3. And then when I do the inverse, I'm going to find that x is going to equal 30, and very much like we just did the last one. And if I do this one, I'm going to get an error. That's not going to work, not possible. So all I've got to worry about are these two answers, which again are going to be 30 and 150. I double check the range. I'm within the range. I'm feeling good. I can't make any more angles by adding 360 or taking them away. So I'm all good to go. Thanks for watching. Hope that helped.